Hey everybody, we're back with section 12.2 on global change. I hope that you guys are ready to learn a little bit more about how the Earth changes over time, or does it? Well, I guess we'll find out. There are many issues environmentally that we're facing today. Each issue must be carefully studied. Public alarm, not so good. You can see how during this whole coronavirus epidemic, public alarm turned out to be a very, very bad thing. People alarmingly bought 700 rolls of toilet paper, even though they only needed a little bit, and it created a shortage, right? Not very good. You go to Walmart today, and you're not going to be able to find much water, much meat, much of anything. Public alarm, not good. Maybe you have heard of a traveling, I believe she's Swedish or Norwegian, high school girl. Her name was Greta Thunberg, I believe. I'll have to look it up. And she travels around, she talks about environmental issues, and she is raising some serious public alarm. I think she was Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Pretty incredible. But the reality is she doesn't know all that much about science or climate change. She's in high school. No PhD, no master's degree. We need to make sure we have the best evidence on any climate change. God provides us with checks and balances of His creation, and we need to make sure that those checks and balances are still in place and that what we're doing is right and good. Hope you enjoy my comic. Good news! At the current rate of global warming, we should be able to just swim over there and eat them in under 5 years. That's because of the threat of sea level rise. Many people believe that the sea level is going to rise to a point where California, New Jersey, parts of Florida are all going to be underwater. That's not too good, right? Well, let's make sure we have all the facts. Acid rain. Acid rain, or acid deposition, is the falling of acid precipitation onto the planet. All rain is slightly acidic, though some, especially in areas that are polluted, is even more acidic, having a pH of around 5 or less. Water's pH is supposed to be about 7. But anyway, you can see what damage is done. There was a picture of an angel over on the left that was made, I believe, in 1901, and in the 1960s and 70s a picture was taken. Doesn't look too much more like an angel, does it? Looks completely different. Well, why? Because acid eroded away the type of stone that was used for the angel. There's a couple different things, like scrubbers and agricultural lime, that can be used to reduce what's called sulfur dioxide, SO2 emissions. Sulfur is very bad to have in a lake or a stream. Acid rain, though, as much as it does harm many culturally significant statues and maybe buildings, it's never as bad as we thought it was. It might create some designs in your roof. I was a roofer before I became a science teacher. Rain does create designs in a roof, erodes away roofs slightly, particularly slate roofs. But if you get rained on, you're not going to burn in acid, not unless you're the Wicked Witch of the West. Watch out. Ozone depletion. Scientists believe there was an ozone hole. The ozone layer protects us from skin cancer and eye diseases. A lot of our refrigerants, stuff we use for refrigerators or cooling, air conditioning, it's believed that they have halogens, which are fluorine and chlorine and stuff like that, that went into the atmosphere and split these ozone in half. And that wouldn't be good, because ozone protects us. In fact, you can see here some alarming ideas, and don't be so alarmed, because, again, these are things that we talked about needing to be carefully studied in public alarm. Don't have it happen. So here's 1974, good ozone amount. 1994, less. 2009, even less. 2020, it's gone. Oh no! By the time we get to 2060, all the ozone is gone and we all die, right? Everyone has cancer. That's just not the case. Okay. And you can see it play through again. The predictions for 2020, this was a GIF made in like 2009, I believe. The predictions are not even close to what has happened. And so we need to study everything very carefully. A changing world. Anthropogenic global warming says that man is causing the Earth to undergo climate change, rapid change in temperature. Some people think that this is because of carbon emissions. So you burn something and it causes carbon to go in the air. The carbon levels rise. And it's true that we have more carbon dioxide in our atmosphere than we've ever had. That is true. I'm not denying that. But is it causing global warming? Interesting. Is climate change even a bad thing if it's happening? Or, even further, has climate always changed, and this is just another example of those changes? Consider the fact that during the medieval time period, 900 to 1100 years after Christ's death, global temperatures were significantly warmer than they are now. In fact, there's evidences that tropical fruit could be grown in Europe. Now, I've never been to Europe. I'd love to go one day, if any of you want to pay for that plane ticket. But I've heard that in England, in particular, it's kind of rainy and miserable. It gets kind of chilly. Not really great for your orange crops. But during this climate optimum, people flourished because the temperatures were a lot warmer, and they could actually grow a whole lot more fruits than they normally could in Europe. However, after this climate optimum, temperatures dropped drastically, creating what's called the Little Ice Age. This is a documented event in history where all the rivers in England froze over. That's kind of scary. It would be like going out in the middle of summer in Florida and you're like, ooh, it's a little chilly here. That's not good. No, it's not. But climate has changed throughout the years. And certainly humans didn't have much of an impact in the 900 years after Christ's death. I mean, we didn't really know how to use fossil fuels all that well. And the Little Ice Age, they didn't do too much either. So anyway, many people say that the global change of our temperatures is actually just natural temperature cycles. I really think it's kind of both. Like, we are affecting it, but the Earth does also change, and I think that we should think about changing our ways of using fossil fuels over time, and it will help create a cleaner and greener Earth. But that we're not going to irrecoverably throw ourselves into death, like many people are saying. If you watched any of the most recent Democrat debate, I don't know why you would watch any debate, but the two candidates were saying that they need to invest $15 trillion into stopping climate change. That's a lot of money. If you think about it, with this coronavirus epidemic, they're sending several $1,000s to every family in the world. And it only costs, not in the world, every family in the U.S. And it costs about $2 trillion, along with a lot of other things. $15 trillion is a lot of money. Global warming. Global warming is sometimes thought to be released by human measures, CO2, talked about that. Evidence shows that CO2, kind of natural. CO2 actually helps plants a whole lot. because plants take water, sun, and carbon dioxide and make oxygen. Kind of nice for the plants. Your book very seriously states that global warming is not caused by human activity. Well, we can disagree on that, the book and I. And maybe you disagree too. That's okay. Because we'll have to look at the evidence for ourselves. I think that we would be wise to research it ourselves. In fact, you may be doing so if we're out of school for much longer. And that's the end of section 12.2. We're going to talk about 12.3, managing our resources, pretty soon. I hope you all have a good day. I will see you all later.